President Kyagulanyi Ssentamu Robert Bobi wine back in Parliament olunaku olwaleero ate mu style.
United free for liberty, together we always stand.
Thank you very much. Let us have a prayer. Let peace be high.
Father, in Jesus' name, we want to thank you very much for the gift of life. We thank you for the gift of a new week. We thank you for the gift of leadership that is here and here. And Lord Jesus, we call upon your Holy Spirit to guide our utterances, guide our thoughts and our decisions. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thank you very much. I'm going to request all of us to take our seats. Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you this morning into our joint opposition political party press conference in solidarity with our very own leader, Dr. Kizza Besigye. In the room, we have a number of dignitaries present who we want to recognize and appreciate for coming. We appreciate the members of parliament that are all here currently, that have joined us in this press conference. Then we appreciate the leader, His Excellency Honorable Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, the NUP party president. We recognize the leader of opposition, Honorable Joel Senyumi. We recognize General Mugisha Motu, ANC coordinator, Honorable Wafula Ogutu, PFF, also former leader of opposition in this parliament. We recognize Honorable Winnie Kizza, ANC, also former leader of opposition here. We recognize Honorable Salongo Elias Lukwago, the Lord Mayor. We recognize Honorable Kenny Chambuzi, the man, CP President. We recognize Honorable Saddam Gaila, PPP Chairman. And we recognize Honorable Shirike Mayanja, founding leader of GMA. We also recognize the Secretary General of the NUP political party. And we recognize Honorable Gerald Karuhanga as well, former Member of Parliament and also ANC leader. I will not mention the members of Parliament by name, but we welcome you all into this press conference. My name is Nawagabe Caroline Flavia, Woman MP Kasanda District, also Chairperson, Women League National Unity Platform. Thank you all for coming. And without further ado, I want to invite the leader of opposition to welcome his guests and also to set the pace of this agenda. Thank you very much.
Wow.
Thank you. Flavia. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to take this opportunity to welcome you to today's meeting with the press. Here with us are various leaders of political parties within the opposition and entities. As the opposition in Parliament, we are only playing host to this meeting, but it's really being headlined by our senior leaders of the various political parties. I also want to take the opportunity to welcome members of Parliament who are here. I know it's busy, there's numerous engagements with the constituencies and elsewhere, but thank you for making time to join our leaders regarding this matter. We are here as the opposition in solidarity over critical issues, one of which is the continued persecution of members of the opposition, supporters of the opposition, and now increasingly leaders within the opposition. This cannot continue to happen, and we look on as if it is okay. It is not okay. And that's why we are here. But perhaps before delving much into that, ladies and gentlemen, today is International Anti-Corruption Day. This is a day that was set after the passage of the United Nations Convention Against Corruption in 2003 to raise public awareness against corruption. I thought it's important to let you know about this day because it's very critical. In Uganda, according to a report by the Inspectorate of Government, we lose over 10 trillion shillings per year to corruption. No wonder. We have got ailing hospitals and health centers, dilapidated schools, broken roads, and poor service delivery in general. Because the money that is meant to fix these issues is stolen by people in government. And so it's important that we continue to raise awareness, public awareness against corruption, especially on a day as critical as this one, the International Anti-Corruption Day. We must all in unison be able to condemn corruption in all its forms, regardless who commits it. There are many people in government that do that, many public officials, many civil servants, and for us in the opposition, we must be aware to operate as carefully as we possibly can, so that we have the moral authority to speak about corruption. Otherwise, when our hands are at it, we then do not have the moral authority to speak about corruption. But when we ensure that we do what is right, we're able to be the moral conscience of the public regarding this matter. I thought I should throw that in. But now get to the substantive matter as to why we have got our leaders here today. The arrest of a senior leader, one of our senior leaders within the opposition, Dr. Kiza SJ. In fact, it was not an arrest, it was a kidnapping from Kenya by Uganda security operatives. It's something we are saying we will not keep quiet about. We do belong to different political entities as the opposition, but we are more similar than we are different. The issues that make us similar, the hounding, the persecution, and all of that, it happens to all of us in various ways. And that should be reason for us, and especially our senior leaders, to come together and say no to this illegality being committed by the state using the military courts. Because it really is the state using these military courts to persecute for a long time opposition supporters, opposition leaders at various levels, and now very senior leaders of the opposition. And so we have welcomed our leaders here to in solidarity say no to this, to condemn it, and to say we want to jointly be in solidarity over this issue. Because today it is Dr. Kiza Besigye, tomorrow it can be any other of the leaders in this room, and that we are here today. The Constitutional Court has pronounced itself on this matter severally, saying civilians should be tried in civilian courts. But the state continues to use this as a stick against the opposition. Election is around the corner and they'll probably want to do this a lot more. So we are saying, no, let's come together now to condemn this before the state thinks it is okay to use it again and again. Because you see, once the state can do this to Dr. Kizza Besigye, and it is fine, even with the general opposition, tomorrow they'll do it to another. So we are here to let them know that when they touch any one of us, they have touched all of us in the opposition. And that is exactly why we are here, to express this solidarity. So I once again want to welcome our senior leaders of the different political parties in the opposition and the political entities within the opposition. Thank you for coming. Like I said, here at Parliament, we're only playing host, but the meeting is really for these are senior leaders, and they'll be addressing us on this matter. At the tail end, we shall sign the joint communication in condemnation of this illegality that continues to happen, in solidarity of our senior leader and all the other opposition supporters who have suffered the brunt of this persecution. So I thank you, and I welcome you on behalf of my colleagues, members of Parliament, because this is our home as MPs. But many of you as senior leaders, you're not new to this place. You are OPs and OGs of this house. And so we would like to welcome you back to this your house. A lot has changed since you were here. A lot has changed, and I'm sure you get surprised out there. I'm told there's been a bit more deployment today. I don't know whether it's because of these senior leaders being present. These are leaders, they're not terrorists. But anyhow, the state sees them as different. Getting them to access this place was very convoluted. A number of other leaders have been denied access to Parliament of Uganda. This Parliament on a daily basis welcomes all manner of people. People who are not even known, as long as they flash their ID at the entrance and they say, I'm going to the office of this member of Parliament, they'll be around it. But these senior leaders in this country, some of whom have been in this Parliament as members, had to go through a lot for them to access. It's problematic, but that's all the persecution that we are going through, and we are hoping we can nip this in the bud. Mine was to welcome you and really to set the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to welcome the President of the National Unity Platform to come and give his address, and we'll be listening to the other political party leaders as well. You're welcome.
Now is it working? Okay, now it's working. Thank you very much, Comrade Senyonyi. Today, ladies and gentlemen, being the International Anti-Corruption Day, I was wondering what better place is it to observe that day than here, corruption. And I'm glad that we have some of our comrades that are fighting aggressively against that corruption. We salute you, Honorable Senyonyi, and your team. I won't give further comments on the International Anti-Corruption Day. Just tell your speaker that I've dedicated this day to her. I salute you, colleague leaders, ladies and gentlemen, fellow Ugandans. And I want to thank you once again for hosting this very important engagement. Ladies and gentlemen, on the 20th day of November, the nation woke up to the disturbing news of a cross-border abduction of Dr. Kizza Besigye and his colleague, Alhaji Obeid Kamlegeya. This was done in Kenya by Uganda's security operatives. It was done in violation of their rights and in utter violation of international law. They were then smuggled into Uganda discreetly, of course in violation of any known extradition processes. And although these two were not serving military men, they were arraigned before the General Court Martial in violation of the Constitution and in violation, in utter contempt of all the pronouncements of the Constitutional Court. As we all know, numerous times the Constitutional Court has made it clear that it's illegal to try non-soldiers, civilians in military courts. We, as a National Unity Platform, have been the biggest victims of these kangaroo courts before, during, and after the elections of 2021. Over 2,000 of our members and supporters were abducted and detained on the orders of either the unit disciplinary committees or the division court martials or the general court martial. Most of them were charged with ridiculous trumped-up charges of being found with military stores, literally referring to our red berets and red overalls. As we speak today, very many of them are still languishing in prison, 4 years and some more, without trial. Recently, all of us saw with shock how the regime forced and coerced some of our comrades to accept the offenses that they never committed. It was such a travesty of justice, and we call upon all Ugandans of good conscience to condemn it and continue condemning it. But before all this happened, you all remember that I was personally charged before the same court, the military court, and the regime presented 2 machine guns claiming that they were found in my hotel room in Arua. Of course, eventually the guns disappeared, and out of both international and local pressure, the charges were dropped. So when we speak about the oppression and the injustice in military courts, ladies and gentlemen, we don't just talk about it as academic knowledge. This is lived experience. We've been through it, and so many Ugandans continue to go through it. The court martial has been turned into a tool of oppression by General Museveni because he has full control of it. He decides who gets charged in the court martial, what charges are preferred against that person, and who does or doesn't get bail from the court martial. He uses it to punish and intimidate his opponents, and we condemn that. Here we come together knowing that Dr. Kizza Besigye and Haji Obed Kamulegeya cannot and will not get justice in that military court. We therefore jointly demand that Dr. Kizza Besigye's charges and Haji Obed Kamulegeya's charges be dropped, and if they can't be dropped, let them at least be charged in a civilian court, because they are civilians. We demand that those charges, those bogus charges, be dropped against them. And I mean, looking at common sense, even if Dr. Kizza Besigye and his colleague were found with guns in Kenya, how does that become a monopoly? How do those guns become a monopoly or even the business of the Ugandan military? We are aware that these charges in the court martial are meant to intimidate, coerce, and ultimately subdue the people of Uganda and their leaders, to stop them from challenging the corrupt system, the corrupt criminal regime of General Museveni. We are here to say to General Museveni that no amount of coercion, no amount of oppression, no amount of impunity will stop the people of Uganda from seeking better. And yes, no amount of intimidation will stop us from offering leadership to these people until we get to a country that we want to live in. Friends, so many dictators have done exactly, or even worse, to their people like Museveni has done to the people of Uganda. But history has taught us that they ultimately come crumbling down when people don't give up. From the dictators that we've seen in history, and yesterday it was Assad of Syria who has oppressed the people of Syria, him and his family, for more than 50 years. They came crumbling down yesterday. So yesterday Assad in Syria, and hopefully tomorrow it will be Museveni in Uganda. We ask the people of Uganda never to give up on hope, to keep fighting for what they rightly deserve, for keep pushing for liberation, because there's no doubt that their freedom is very soon coming. I want to thank you all for listening to me and request other colleague leaders to also give their comments. So it's my humble pleasure to invite you, General Mugisha Muntu, to kindly come and give your remarks. I thank you very
much. Mumuwulidde President Kyagulanyi Ssentamu Robert Bobi Wine ensonga eriwo ey'eggumba tebayimiriddeko era bakuŋŋaanyiza awamu nga bakulembeze okuva mu bibiina ebyenjawulo bagyogereko wano ku Paalamenti ya Uganda olwaleero.
Come to understand the rest of the opposition parties, stand in solidarity with Dr. Kizza and Haji Mutare, who were abducted in Kenya and have been arraigned before the military courts. Our demands are that Dr. Kizza and Haji Mutare be tried in the civil courts, because both are civilians. I would like also to talk about another aspect. We should make every Ugandan concerned about this particular case. It's not every day that governments go and abduct their citizens from other countries, also neighboring countries. One would have to look behind the mindsets of those who are conducting such an operation, where a government goes and abducts its citizens from another country and does not go through the established channels through which, when a person is arrested in a different country, processes are in place, are established, legal as well as diplomatic. That never happened. They were abducted on Saturday, and by Sunday, they were in Makinde, taken through both borders, the Kenyan border and the Ugandan border, the official borders. So what would be the mindset of those who are conducting such an operation? Considering the consequences of that. Kenya itself, I saw a few days back, a public servant representing the Ministry of Foreign Affairs trying to explain this question, because there are so many questions in Kenya itself. And I saw him almost speaking Greek, because he was not able to come out openly to say whether the Kenyan government was behind it or not. That wouldn't be facing the Kenyan government right now if those who are conducting the operation from this side were not operating from the mindset in which they are operating. We don't have information as why they would do that first and foremost, when they clearly knew that Dr. Kizza has been going out of the country and he comes back. They were clearly aware that he would be back, that they would not wait, even if they had any case to put against him, to arrest him when in Uganda, should be a concern of all Ugandans. Why so? Because it would clearly mean that, one, either those who conducted this operation were in panic for whatever reason, one wouldn't understand. Two, that at their subconscious level, they have given up on the image of their government that they no longer care about protecting image, because basically maybe they think in their minds that they no longer have anything to protect in terms of image. You don't do that. As you can see, the attraction this case has raised regionally, continentally, and internationally. What government will not care about is image when there are consequences of that nature? Unless in the subconscious level, they have given up on image. They no longer believe that they got an image to protect. 3, or those who conducted the operation are inept, that they have no capability to weigh when they are conducting or planning operations of that nature, to balance a number of issues before they make a decision of that nature. Or 4, they are so reckless that they don't care about what happens. Now, in case it is any of those 4, or a combination of them, that should make all of us worried as Ugandans. Because the management of security forces is key in the stability of the country. So if it is because of recklessness or ineptness, it should be a cause for concern for all of us, including those who are in the regime. Because we have got people who handle issues of that nature, to handle them the way they handle the matter. Even those who are senior in government, political as well as military, should think deeply on this particular issue. So we are happy and we thank you, the leader of opposition and the members of parliament who are here with you for hosting us this day. We should not let this matter rest. We are glad that there are regional interest, a number of political actors in this whole of East Africa, and they continue raising pressure all around. I'd like to thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and also the members of the press for covering us today. Let me take this opportunity, therefore, to invite Honorable and former leader of opposition, Honorable Fula Okutu. Thank you.
May I please come and address the media on behalf of PFF.
The principals of various political entities here, our host here, the leader of opposition, honorable members of parliament present here, members of the US, all the dignitaries. First of all, I would like to correct the impression here. I wasn't invited as the road mayor here. Yes, I hold that title. I'm proud of it, but I'm not here as the road mayor of Kampala. I am here as the acting president of the FDC, sitting at Katonga, now in transit to PFF. So I would like that to be duly organized because we had a delegates conference that convened at Katonga and I was duly elected. And we have an institution we are running there. We are in the process of morphing into PFF. So I headed a delegation here comprising of Honorable Waf here, Honorable Makando here, and also Honorable Doreen Nyanjura here. I would like to thank the principals here of various political entities for organizing this arrangement, this forum, to jointly come out condemn these transgressions. This is not a matter for Dr. Kizza Besigye. It's not a matter for Obedi Kamregea. It's not a matter for the NUP victims who are languishing before the General Court Martial, and of course in other ungazetted detention facilities. It's not a matter for General Muntu or any of us. It's a matter for all Ugandans. We are talking about universal human rights. We are talking about a travesty of justice, which is under our watch, superintended over by people who are supposed to take charge of the country under the existing constitutional order. The greatest concern to all of us, the constitution right now is a mere paper tiger. And that should concern all of us. We oftentimes talk about the constitution being the supreme law of the land, but that's no more. It's an illusory document which is taking a direction parallel to what the powers that be are doing. It's incumbent upon all of us, regardless of our political differences, different political affiliations, to rally in single file and take on the bull by the horns. And I'm glad this morning you have assembled here to make this proclamation that we stand in unison against this injustice. We thank you very, very much, all of you, the principals, for the firm stance you have taken. For the record, the General Court Martial is not a court, and I will request from our vocabulary to expand it. We should expand it from our vocabulary. It's a disciplinary committee. If you want to be civil enough, you can call it a tribunal. But it's not a court within the meaning of the law. It's a misnomer, even under the Constitution, under our laws. It's not a court of competent record. It's not a court of judicature. When we are looking at the hierarchy of courts, it's nowhere. It's like the Discipline and Rules Committee of Parliament. It's not a court. So, by continuing to call it a court, we are sanitizing it. And we give that facade of, trial being conducted by an impartial court, which is not the case. So let us call it what it is, a disciplinary committee of the military, where they are dragging civilians to subject them to martial law. And it's high time we came out together, assertively and aggressively, to say enough is enough. We have exhausted the legal processes of challenging the jurisdiction of this court, this tribunal over civilians. We have done that before. And I would like colleagues here, without singling out individuals, at least the Honorable Medard Sekona here led us very well in the case of Kabazuguruka, where a court unequivocally pronounced itself on this matter. Unequivocally. 2021, the decision was made. The Attorney General made an appeal, which is still pending. And those of you who are interested in this ruling, which was given by Justice Owinyidoro, 2021, staying execution of that proclamation. They were very instructive directives. He said, since this is a matter of great public concern, urgent in nature, it will be fixed and disposed of expeditiously. That was way back 5th August 2021. We are now in 2024. Maybe in his diction, with all due respect, the word expeditious has acquired a new meaning. because if up to now it has not been disposed of. And I want to tell you for the record, since then, the justices of the Supreme Court were handling, many have passed on. Justice Opiowelu died, Justice Arach died, Justice Mwonda, Faith Mwonda. Now it's just Chibita and Owinyidoro who are still there. And there is no indication as to when it's going to be disposed of. Members of Parliament who are here, Article 79 is very, very clear. It's a duty of all of you to protect, jealously protect the Constitution, the sanctity of the Constitution, its spirit and the letter. Let us rise to the occasion, regardless of our political divide. As I conclude, the proceedings continue tomorrow. The proceedings, the impending proceedings, continue tomorrow. The worst experience you can have as a practicing advocate is to appear before that committee. We had long taken decisions never to appear there. I remember, for the record, I want to again remind those who are not aware. It's not the first time Dr. Besigye is appearing there. 2005 was there. And when we appeared with my brother here, Yusuf Nsibambi, then one of our legal counsel was bold enough, and this is what is demanded of all of us. The late Samuel Kaleganju, when he looked at the whole hostile environment in that room, manned by the late General Eri Tumwine, he said this is a kangaroo court. He described it aptly. This is a kangaroo court. Then Eri Tumwine, in a bullish manner, with all, may he so rest in eternal peace, asked, who has said it? Who has said it? There was a deafening silence within, I don't want to call it courtroom, a room for a committee, I don't know, is it a committee room? In that committee room, there was a deafening silence. Then Sam Kaleganjuba boldly stood up and said, I said it. When rolled his eyes 360 degrees, said, he didn't know what to do about him. This is exactly what we need to do. Simply because you could not drag him to the door, he had to pounce on the little ones, myself and Alak. We had to pay the price. We were dragged into the door, court-martialed, and convicted. So I appear before that court, both as a counsel and as a convict. And look here, gentlemen, this is a very serious matter. You are having non-lawyers presiding over serious matters. The offense under section 128 of the UPDF Act, under which Obed and Besigye are charged, carries a maximum sentence of death. Death, once they are convicted. Death. Firearms Act, you know the sentence, being in possession of military hardware. These are very serious offenses. In the case of Amon Tumwebaze, of these offenses, now the charge sheet of Dr. Besigye, now it is stretching to Geneva, it is going to Greece, Kenya, wherever. Ladies and gentlemen, I kindly ask, let's rise to the occasion. It's the reason lawyers from all over the world are joining us. This morning, Martha Karua has come back. She has already landed. We are going to have a press conference shortly after here, and members of the press, you are invited. She has a package for you. On the next phase, I think we are now going to engage in another gear. We are in gear number 4 or 5. I don't want to tell you the second gear we are engaging. So shortly after this, I invite you at State Hall. You come because there are issues we are trying to address. There is another lawyer who has also joined us from Angola. He has also just touched the ground now. There are those who are coming from Nigeria, South Africa, and across Africa. Let's team together. Let's take the bull by the horns. Let's marshal all the efforts we have. We put an end to this insanity. Together, we must decisively deal with this madness. Otherwise, tomorrow it will be you. Finally, we have it on good record. Dr. Besigye was supposed to be killed at Riverside. This I speak on good authority, and I don't want to mince words. The assignment are given to the mercenaries. Eliminate him, execute him. It was just by the grace of the Lord, a supervening factor came in. I think by divine intervention, yes, when you talk about an act of God, that is survived by a whisker. Only the act of doing rendition was just an afterthought. But the mission finished him from there. On another occasion, we shall furnish you with the details of the same. So on that note, I want to end here by inviting my brother here, Mayanja, General Mayanja. No, it's not a general, it's like myself. I remember in the General Court Martial when I went to stand in surety for General Sejusa, they asked me whether I'm a foster general, and I was flushed out of that committee. So I've been asked to invite senior leader here, Honorable Kibirige Mayanja. But as he comes, leader of opposition, I take exception to the practice here. How can the Lord Mayor of the city, the leader of a political entity, be stripped of my property at the entrance there? I don't even have a copy of the Constitution. I don't have anything, even in my bag. Everything confiscated at the entrance. I don't know why. So anyway, those are the things we need to deal with. We are living in hard times. The floor is yours, Honorable Mayanja. May God bless you.
Thank you very much, especially the leader of opposition, for inviting us today for a common purpose, for a common cause. I have been already introduced, Mayanja Chibilika, and I don't need a lot of introduction. And I am from the Justice Forum. I will just take this opportunity to introduce one member of the Justice Forum here, who is here. If there is any other one, you let me know. But so far, I am with the Karunji Pasmus, who is from the Justice Forum. Of course, we are here to condemn the abduction of our colleague and then being arraigned in the court martial. That's a very, very serious issue for all of us as opposition. I'm sure none of us here is safe. So it is really our duty to come up and take joint action like this. And I thank the leader of opposition for convening us in this fashion, because this is the only way we can really deliver a message that what was done was wrong, it was inhuman. Dr. Besigye was abducted in Kenya. So I'm not so much of a lawyer, but the scene of crime was in Kenya. How Uganda got the jurisdiction to go and abduct people from Kenya, the lawyers will tell us. But I think the Kenyan government also can be said to be involved, because otherwise they neglect the security of Ugandans or the security of non-Kenyans, and which puts all our lives in danger. That when you are in Kenya, anytime you can be abducted. So this case has implications on the East African community, implications on the international system of justice, and so on and so forth. But while all of that is going, we are saying that there is no reason why Dr. Besigye should be kept in prison. He should be, he should be released. He should be released. He should be tried in the civilian courts because the lawyers have already emphasized this case. So I really don't have to say much. It is enough that we have demonstrated this solidarity when one of us is being denied justice. And I want to thank all of you for making it to this interface with the press. So I take this opportunity to invite Honorable Winnie Kiza Besigye as Honorable Winnie Kiza as the next speaker.
The leaders of the different political parties and formations that are in the room, our leader of the opposition, members of parliament, members of the press, we gather here today to condemn the manner in which our brothers, Dr. Kiza Besigye and Alhaj Abed Kamlegea, were abducted from Kenya, where they had gone on their personal and individual duties. Our elder, Dr. Mayanja Kibirige, referred to me as Honorable Winnie Kiza Besigye. I take it with dignity. Dr. Kiza Besigye is our mentor in politics. And in fact, when we were starting our political struggles, and I was named the Minister of Community Service, Gender and Community Development during the Reform Agenda time, the media said the Reform Agenda grouping lacked leaders, and Besigye decided to name his wife and positioned her in Kasese. So from that time, I was referred to as Dr. Besigye's other wife. My husband is aware of that. And where I go, they call me Winnie Kiza Besigye. I don't take offense. So I come here to join the other colleagues to condemn and stand in solidarity with with Dr. Kiza Besigye, wherever he is, and Abedi Kamlegea. So sad that Ugandans can look at this matter as a matter of Dr. Besigye. Today is Dr. Besigye, tomorrow is you. And I would like to say that an attack on any member of the opposition should be looked at as an attack to all of us. We join here as leaders of different political groupings because we know that Dr. Besigye believes in the unity of the opposition. And so when we come here to join hands to condemn the act and condemn the President of the Republic of Uganda, the manner in which he's dispersing the issues of this republic that is putting us in jeopardy as a country, the manner in which he has muzzled all state institutions and he thinks he is going to export this to other countries, is another issue that we should worry about. When Dr. Besigye is accused of committing atrocities in Greece, atrocities in Geneva, atrocities in Kenya, and is arraigned in a military court in Uganda, is an issue that we should worry about in terms of diplomatic missions. Because I don't know at what stage President Museveni became the president of Greece, became the president of Geneva, and now is taking over the issues of Kenya. As a country, we should get worried. This should not be a matter of Dr. Besigye. It's not a matter of only the members of the opposition. It's a matter for all of us, the citizens of Uganda. We should also be bothered that other people from other countries are getting concerned about the justice system of Uganda, and that we as citizens are at peace with ourselves. And having said this, I would like to invite all of us tomorrow to Makindi. 1, to show solidarity, and then 2, to send a signal that we are dissatisfied with the way citizens and non-military personnel are being arraigned in court martials. It happened to our people in the Renzoris in 2014. Citizens were arrested, arraigned in court martial, in a ground. Actually, the court was seated in a ground, and the judge was there, dancing around and about. And we knew this was an anomaly, it was an injustice, it was an illegality, but it continued. Those of us who saw it happen, we condemned it. Some citizens remained silent. Friends, it is an issue that we should all raise up to condemn, an issue that we should be preoccupied with, because it is an issue that concerns all of us. I would therefore like to call upon all of us to stand in solidarity. 1, with Dr. Kizza Besigye, but 2, to condemn the manner in which they were arrested. 3, to say enough is enough, the way citizens are being treated, that anybody who has a different view from that of President Museveni is looked at as a rebel, is looked at as an enemy of the state, and so it defeats the purpose for which the Constitution was made. There are provisions of free association, freedom to associate, freedom to speak, freedom to assemble, but if all those freedoms are now no longer available for us, the citizens, then I don't see whether we still have any constitution to call a constitution. Friends, as you may be aware, lawyers came up to say we are taking on this matter, but as up to now, the Honorable Martha Karua's certificate that he asked for has not yet been granted. I would imagine similarly to other lawyers who want to come. What is the meaning of this to us as citizens? These are issues that we should begin pondering about and work harder to defend, because it may happen to Besigye today. When it happens to you tomorrow, there may be no one to speak, or all the other energies will be depleted. So we need to come together in solidarity. We need to support one another at times like this. And then we need also to continue showing our government that they can do better. And that we as citizens will not just look on as they violate our rights, as they manipulate the Constitution, and as they do illegalities in our face. We shall continue to speak, just like the speakers before me mentioned it. There is no amount of intimidation. There is no amount of coercion. There is nothing that is going to stop us from speaking what we believe in as being the right for the people of Uganda. There is nothing that is going to stop us from demanding for justice. There is nothing that will stop us for demanding for good governance. I want to thank you for listening to me, and I want to call upon all of us once again, let us be at court tomorrow. And we continue to make statements to our nation and the government of President Museveni that the capture of institutions will not stop the will of the people to happen. We shall continue fighting, we shall continue mobilizing, we shall continue speaking no matter what. Having said that, I would like to take a singular honor of inviting the Honorable Ken John Luchams, the man. Honorable, you're most welcome.
Thank you very much. Mr. President, sir, I bring greetings from the Conservative Party. I have been told to thank the NUP for organizing a meeting of this magnitude. We in the Conservative Party think that if arrangements of this kind go on, we are capable of collectively fighting the omnipotent dictator. And I think that Honorable Bobi, Honorable Chagulanyi, you have opened a window for the opposition to begin working cautiously, mindful of the dictator. With reference to a case in law known as Human Rights Network versus Attorney General and others, the Constitutional Court ruled that the content of POMA that was stopping politicians or political parties from holding meetings and demonstrations are null and void. They did not stop there. The court added that as if that was not enough, the contents of Article 92 of the Constitution stop Parliament from passing any other law to replace the one which has been nullified. When the Attorney General says he was appealing against that judgment, he's deceiving himself. Because Uganda has already ratified the International Covenant on People's Social, Political, and Economic Rights, meaning that we do not expect the Supreme Court to nullify the laws that we have already signed for as a nation. The time is now for all of us, the political parties in Uganda, to work together and fight that dictatorship. There is nothing that stops us from calling public meetings and demonstrating publicly. Who is doing that? Now, on the matter regarding Dr. Kizza Besigye, thank you very much, honorable members of the political parties, for coming together to respond to the clarion call of NUP. Dr. Kizza Besigye, whom we are remembering today and we are fighting for, is a great fighter for freedom. He has persisted all the years to fight for human rights in Uganda. And nobody can succeed the war of fighting for freedom without persistency. That is why up to now we honor Martin Luther King Jr., we honor Mahatma Gandhi, we honor Nelson Mandela, we honor Benedict Ojwang-Kovaro, because of the record they left in fighting for freedom persistently. I call upon you all to remember the core of persistency, because without persistency, you may not cause any impact in this world. When I look at the case which Honorable Lukwago and others are trying to manage, I even laugh, because Honorable Lukwago successfully explained in court. I was there. After that explanation, I don't see anything like a sub judice rule being applied, because under Article 28, Clause 7 of the Constitution, the charges which were narrated in court do not stand. They do not stand, because unless Uganda wants to annex Kenya, but Kenya is a sovereign state. So when the chairman of the committee said that on the 10th you should come for mentioning what case which does not stand. There's no case standing. Anybody is free to talk about the case now being pleaded. I would like to thank the lawyers, including Martha, who is a fellow conservationist, for endeavoring to protect the rights of a Ugandan. We should feel proud that we have friends across the republic that are capable of coming to our favor when we are in danger. Finally, the president of NUP talked about the anti-corruption day. In Uganda, if we want to effectively fight corruption, we should adopt the federal governance model, the model of a federalism, to empower the regions with the power to fight corruption. You cannot fight corruption when you have no power. The districts are too small to fight corruption because under federalism, power fights power. Power checks power. You must own power to be able to check power. That is another very important chapter, which at one time I will endeavor to articulate. With those few words, I urge you all, honorable members from the political parties and the parliamentarians, to copy from the experience which has been noted by us through this important gathering, masterminded by NUP. And we thank NUP. We didn't know that you can be so effective as you are now. Let us use this chapter of collectiveness to endeavor to fight so many other wars that are coming in front of us tomorrow. Thank you very much. May I have the honor of inviting Honorable Gaira to speak on behalf of PPP.
Thank you very much, Honorable Kenny. I don't know what I can say after all my colleagues have talked. I can feel what Honorable Kyagulanyi experiences whenever we are in meetings like this, because he speaks last. But as the saying goes, that he who speaks last or who laughs last laughs best. Let me make 2 points. First of all, I thank the Leader of Opposition and NUP for organizing this event. I want to remind the President of Uganda that in 1980, when he went to the bush, 2 people were arrested by the army. One of them was General Salim Saleh. Your Excellency the President, when your brother was arrested, remember the message you sent to the former Vice President and Minister of Defense, the late Paul Mwanga. Because you are not trusting the courts then, you threatened that if he doesn't release your brother, you are going for him. So you should remember that. The way you felt when your brother was arrested is the way Ugandans are feeling when their children, when their brothers are abducted and are subjected to the court-martial. The second person that I want to remind the President of Uganda was his former Secretary General at the time, Honorable Bidandi Sali. Museveni went to the bush today. The following day, Bidandi Sali was arrested and he was incarcerated in the army barracks for 1 year and 4 months. I want to ask the President of Uganda, when you were in Rushikaire's house discussing about going to the bush or discussing about the way forward after the election, there were 2 options. You said you will go to the bush, and the Bidandi said, no, let us go and organize the party. Now you decided to go to the bush, the Bidandis decided to do otherwise. They remained here. I want to ask the President, was Bidandi arrested because he was going to overthrow government? Because you know very well that he was objected to that idea, vehemently objected. So are you telling us that that is what is now happening, that you went to fight? So I wanted to say this, maybe our president is no longer recalling what happened then. President Mr. Museveni, they are correcting me here. The second point I want to make is a clarion call to all Ugandans. As we are sitting here in solidarity against the abduction and consequently the arraigning of Dr. Besigye and his co-accused to the court-martial, what Museveni has succeeded into is to isolate us wherever we are fighting for justice. When I'm being persecuted, Nup is isolated from me. When border borders are being persecuted, the hawkers are in their comfort. When the doctors are being persecuted, the teachers are in their comfort. At no one point we have come together to fight against injustice as Ugandans. Where are the religious leaders in this? Where are the religious leaders? Where are the academicians? Where are the professionals in this? Where are they? Are they waiting the time when he will go to them and then they call us to come and defend them? In countries where they have fought injustice, the professionals, the religious leaders, the middle class, they all come together to fight this injustice. Until we realize this, until we appreciate this, this injustice shall keep on. So I call upon all those groups to come forward and join this struggle of fighting the injustice. Otherwise, we shall keep on fighting, and we shall keep on fighting in isolation from one another, and we will never succeed. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, our leaders, for the very interesting and very encouraging words that you have shared with us this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, I also want to recognize the presence of the Deputy Lord Mayor, Honorable Nyanjira Doreen, who is amidst us. I also want to recognize the presence of Mr. Wakandonda Wycliffe, the head of the PFF Secretariat. Thank you as well for coming, and I also want to welcome the other members of Parliament that have also currently joined us. Thank you. Right now, I want to invite the Leader of Opposition, Honorable Joel Senyonyi, to come and give us a way forward, and then we can see what to do next. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Flavia. We have pretty much come to the end of this joint press address by leaders of the different opposition political parties and entities. I want to again thank our leaders for coming and for doing this in solidarity. As we wrap up, we are going to sign a joint statement. I'm going to request Council Lewis Ruongoya to come and read to us that statement that is going to be signed by the senior leaders, a joint statement in solidarity with Dr. Kizza Besigye, Haji Obed Kamulegeya, and all the other different political prisoners that are being illegally persecuted using the military courts. Kindly read it to us and then we'll sign.
Thank you very much, Lop, and all distinguished leaders. Here is a statement, 9th December 2024. Joint statement on the abduction of Haji Obed Kamulegeya from Kenya and the arraignment before the General Court Martial. We, the undersigned leaders of different political parties and formations, do hereby 1. Condemn the abduction of Dr. Kizza Besigye and Haji Obed Kamulegeya from Kenya, a sovereign state, on the 16th of November 2024, in complete violation of domestic, regional, and international laws. 2. Condemn their trial in the military court, which has no jurisdiction to try civilians, and further assert our belief that they cannot get a free and fair trial at the General Court Martial, where the military is the complainant, the prosecutor, and the judge. 3. demand an end to the trial of civilians in military courts in adherence of numerous rulings by Uganda's Constitutional Court. All cases involving numerous political prisoners and other civilians must be terminated or transferred to civilian courts. 4. Call upon Chief Justice Owiny Dollo and the Supreme Court to rise to the occasion and put a final end to the trial of civilians in military courts and the attendant violations of human rights. 5. Demand that the charges against Dr. Kizza Besigye and Haj Obeid Kamulegera are dropped, and if not, that they are swiftly transferred to civilian courts bearing jurisdiction to try the alleged offences. I thank you very much. That is the statement.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rubongoya. And now currently we are going to witness the signing of the statement he has just read.
Before you sign it,
yes, please.
we have been consistent plus there is a violation of rights. You cannot push it. So I don't know if you are now changing how do you transfer from each other? Two, take them to the civilian court and the court. If there is no offense to which it will be reported.
Thank you. Yeah, so I think the issue that Honorable Sekuna is raising, as a senior lawyer, what we have been saying, if the state has got any case to prefer against any of these people, whether it be Dr. Kizza Besigye, whether it be all the different political prisoners, take them to the civilian courts. That's what we are saying. Of course, they normally will run away from the civilian courts because they know it will be a lot harder for them to have a tight grip. People are denied bail in the military courts, which usually might not necessarily be the case with civilian courts. So we are saying these are, if, that's why I'm saying if. Let's not have a back and forth over these colleagues. But that is good counsel that we can keep building on. But the point is, if the state wants to charge any of us over anything, that's okay, because we are not law breakers. So we are not saying don't charge us. The same way we keep saying, if you want to arrest any of us, do it within the law. We are not saying we are impervious to arrest. None of us is above the law. But if you choose to arrest me, don't abduct me in a drone. All right? If you want to prefer any charge against me, take me to the civilian court, not the military court. So that's the issue, really. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. We have come to the end. I'm now going to be inviting the different leaders to come and sign this, our joint document. I think they'll do it from here on this podium with ease. I'm hoping the camera people are not disenfranchised in any way. We change the podium. Rom Saddam Gaira is very creative. He's saying, I do this. Okay. Come Okay. It's the other view that we have this podium just in the middle. Would you want them to just sign from? Okay, we'll just do it on that table there. Let's have the document. Honorable Chagulanyi, you sign first. You want to stand? Okay. That's it.
Robert Abdullah signing on behalf of MEP, General Muntu is signing on behalf of ANT. Honorable Saddam Gaira on behalf of PPP. Okay, Honorable Ken Lucham is the man who signed first on behalf of CG. Honorable Saddam Gaira on behalf of PPP. Omulodi Salom Elias Fuago on behalf of PFF. He's a Salom was up to so there you are. Haji Chiwege Mayanja on behalf of Rema as founding leader. Okay, we can have maybe one or two witnesses. Honorable Wafula Ogutu as one of the witnesses. Former leader of opposition. Honorable Winnie Kiza as another witness.
Honorable woman.
If it is allowable, all MPs will be signing, but for now, let me sign on behalf of the MPs.
Yes.
Please request colleagues, leaders, let's come for a joint picture. MPs and the other colleague leaders, let's just come at the back for this joint picture.
Babasembere mabega bano batuule abalala babadde batuule wano bali badde bepanga.
I'm kindly requesting the leaders of the different opposition political parties to take their seats, and then the rest of us, the members of parliament, will stand behind them. Thank you very much. Let the leaders all take their seats, and the rest of us will follow behind. Thank you.
We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. If in our hearts I do believe, we shall overcome someday. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday.
Thank you very much. I am going to request the leader of opposition to do a Uganda version. Honorable colleagues, kindly calm down. I am going to request the leader of opposition to lead the entire leadership of the opposition the way they were, to give us a Uganda version of some of the things they were saying. Tugenda kusaba leader of opposition akulembere mu tiimu nga bwakikulembedde okuba n'amawulire enkulire mu Luganda.
Okay, thank you guys for following. Never knew about Mbade Mugoberera Mbere Badano Parliament, His Excellency the President of the Republic of Uganda, the Vice President Robert Chagulanyi Ssentamu, the leader of opposition, the Right Honourable Joel Ssenyonyi, bakulembeze okuva mu bibiina ebyenjawulo ebiri ku ludda oluvuganya gavumenti, ababaka ba parliament saako n'abo abakkiriza mu nkyukakyuka. Olunaku lwaleero baziwamu okulaba nti bassa omukono ku kiwandiiko ekivumirira enkola ey'amagye okweyambisa omukisa okuvunaana abantu ba bulijjo emisango nga bakulembeza omusango Dr. Kano Kizza Besigye yawambibwa mu ggwanga erya Kenya mpaka olunaku olwaleero. So ekiwandiiko kino bakitaddeko omukono, basaba ebintu bino biyimirizibwe bunambiro abantu bonna, era nga bw'olaba ebibiina ebimu ebitalabiseeko ekibiina kya UPC siwuliddeeko ani akikiikiridde, ekibiina kya NEED siwuliddeko ani akikiikiridde, ekibiina kya FDC Nsebambi mulabyeko, ekibiina kya DP siwuliddeyo n'omu akikiikiridde, saako n'ebirala byemba sijjukira, naye abakulembeze abasinga babaddewo abali ku gavumenti. Muzikirize komera wano, may God bless you. Tugendeko mu Luganda tusooke tule biki ate abakulu tebagenda okubanga
obwedda abakutumira ku live wano.
Mwami umugende wano waliwo loogi gwe musajja nze sifa nawe genda ne bakyala bo
Okay, baadaye tutabe twogeremu ku Luganda, of course we need a national language, but we'll do that very briefly for you. I'll just give a quick preamble mu Luganda, then abakulembeze baffe nabo buli omu line, something big. Mu Luganda, kubanga bannamawulire mubadde mutabusi. Namwagala version ye. Simanyi lwaki temutusaba Lunyankole, temutusaba Lukyoli, kubanga lwonna tulumanyi wano ennimi ezo zonna. Okay, tusinkanye olwaleero n'abakulembeze b'ebibiina byaffe ne groups ez'enjawulo eza opposition. Ffenna nga twagala okubeera n'eddoboozi ery'omwanguka mu nsonga ez'enkizo. Tutandise tujjukiza eggwanga nti olunaku olwaleero luyitibwa International Anti-Corruption Day. Ensi yonna nga yeegatta okuvumirira enguzi. Kino kyayisibwa mu 2003, kyayisibwa United Nations, era yali Convention Against Corruption mu 2003. So nga bwe tujjukira olunaku luno lwa International Anti-Corruption Day, tuvumirira enguzi, obulyake, kubanga bitusibidde ddala emabega ng'eggwanga. Malwaliro teri ddagala, enguudo ziri bubi, amasomero gali mu mbeera mbi, service delivery obuweereza bwonna bwayonooneka olw'enguzi. So nga tugamba tulina okwegatta ffenna nga bannansi, ggwanga laffe lulibanga lyakutereera, enguzi tulina okugirwanyisa, era nga ffenna opposition twogeza eddoboozi limu tulwanyisa enguzi. Si nga tugamba nti bwe tulwanyisa enguzi mu bannaffe abali mu gavumenti, naffe opposition tulina okubeera nga tuli beerufu, engalo zaffe zirina okuba nga si nkyafu, awo tubeere n'obusobozi obuvumirira enguzi, naye nga buno obuvunaanyizibwa bwaffe ffenna nga bannansi. Ensonga enkizo etuleese wano, era nga twebaza abakulembeze baffe ab'ebibiina ne groups ez'enjawulo mu opposition okujja ffe wano just tubadde bakyaza, naye nga omulamu omukulu babakulembeze baffe bano ab'enjawulo. Okulembeze munnaffe mu opposition era senior Dr. Kizza Besigye yawambibwa gavumenti ya wano e Uganda, bamuwamba okuva e Kenya mu ngeri y'obumenyi bw'amateeka ne Hajji Obed Lutale Kamulegeya, ne bakubibwa wano mu mbuga za military court, kooti y'amagye. Tugamba nti kino ffe ng'aba-opposition era abakulembeze baffe abatukulembera tukiwakanya, tukivumirira, kubanga kimenya amateeka. Kooti, constitutional court ez'ekirambika emirundi egiwera, bannansi abatali bannamagye bw'aba alina omusango gwonna gw'oteebereza nti yazzizza, tutwale mu kooti eza bulijjo, si ez'amagye, era nga tutalemeddeko ku nsonga eno. Kooti y'amagye bagikozesa nnyo okutulugunya bannabyabufuzi abatawakanya gavumenti. Muzze mulaba bangi abawakanya gavumenti eno, ab'oppositioni, abaana ab'enjawulo, nti ono ayambadde ekifaananyi t-shirt eriko ekifaananyi ky'omukulembeze w'opposition ono tawagira gavumenti eriko, bazze babawamba nga tuva mu kalulu, bangi bakyali mu makomera, kati batandise n'okukikola ku bakulembeze ab'enjawulo. So tugamba nti baagala otwawulamu nti bakwate omu bagende nti mwabala mukole ebyammwe, nedda ffe tugamba nti bw'okwata omu ku ffe ffenna oba otukutteko, abakulembeze baffe kyekibaleese wano okukkaatiriza ensonga eyo, nga tukivumirira ekyokutulugunya Dr. Kizza Besigye mu mbeera eyo, era nga tugamba nti Dr. Kizza Besigye, Hajji Obed Kamulegeya ne bannaffe abalala bonna basapoota bammemba opposition abatulugunyizibwa mu kooti z'amagye bazibu. Bomba muteebereza nti bazize emisango gyonna, nga kooti bwe yagamba batwale mu kooti eza bulijjo, bano si bannamagye, y'ensonga abakulembeze baffe gye baliko. Era tugamba nti ffe nga opposition tujja sigala nga tukwatira wamu mu nsonga zino ebitufaananya bye bisinga ebyo bitwawula. Yes, tulina ebibiina ebyenjawulo, groups ez'enjawulo, ekyo kiyoke politically, naye ebitunyigiriza ate byebimu. Uganda empya, Uganda eyeeyagaza buli munnansi gye twagala ffenna tugyetaaga nga opposition. Abakulembeze baffe bano ab'oku ntikko ensonga gye baliko era ebaleese olunaku olwaleero. Era abakulembeze baffe batadde omukono ku kiwandiiko ekikulu nga kusookera ddala bavumirira ekyokutulugunya Dr. Kizza Besigye, Ajobedi Kamulegeya ne bannayuganda abalala abatali bannamagye mu court martial military courts. Era batadde emikono ku kiwandiiko kino ekivumirira era nga tugamba nti bunnambiro emisango gino era bagidropinge bagisuule oba baba batebereza nti abantu bano bazizza omusango gwonna batwale mu kooti ezabulijjo kubanga bano si bannamagye. Era twebaza abakulembeze baffe bano ab'oku ntikko olw'okuteeka omukono ku kiwandiiko. Tujja kukolera wamu ku nsonga ezitunyigiriza n'ensonga ezinyigiriza bannansi. So kyekituleese n'abakulembeze baffe bano ngenda basaba bogereyo buli omu maybe sentence oba ki muwulire amaloboozi gaabwe mu Luganda. Kasita tubabuulidde lwaki tubakyaziza era nga tubeebaza beebale kujja ku nsonga eno enkulu. Ssebo ow'ekitiibwa kyabwe.
Baba weebale ino weebalira erala ngalo bwako benze na nendo because batugambye Luganda. Yeah, very briefly nange njagala okukanya leader of opposition Right Honorable Senyenyi kyayogeddeko tukunganye wano abakulembeze mu bibiina ne groups ez'enjawulo okugatta eddoboozi lyaffe okuvumirira obuswavu gavumenti ya Mwai Museveni bwe yatuusa ku Uganda okusomoka ne bagenda e Kenya ne bawamba Dr. Kizza Besigye ne Haji Obedi Butale Kamulegeya ne bajja ne babasimba mu kooti ey'amagye. Ekyo nno kya bumenyi bw'amateeka internationally naye ne wano okulaba nti babajje e Kenya ne babaleeta nga tewali nkola yonna gye bagoberedde ey'amateeka ate ne babasimba mu kooti ey'amagye wano newankubadde nga si basirikale. Tukivumirira naye nga Katonda bw'aleeta ekirungi wakati mu kibi kino kyongere okulaga okunyigirizibwa kw'Abannayuganda abatali basirikale nga basimbibwa mu kooti ey'amagye nga tetunayingira mu kalulu ka 2021 nga tukalimu ne twakaviiramu. Bannaffe abasukka 2,000 bawambibwa bangi ne basimbibwa mu kooti z'amagye okwetoolola eggwanga lyonna kyetuvumirira. Lunaku lwaleero bangi bakyali mu makomera myaka 4 bangi basobamu nga bali mu makomera awatali nakulira misango gyabwe. Ekyo nno jagadde kikube n'ettaala mu mbeera y'Abannayuganda abalala abatali na bannabyabufuzi naye nga mu ngeri ekyeyononere batwaliranga mu kooti ey'amagye yafuuka nga ttu ekozesa okunyigiriza abantu. Owakanye n'omuntu mukayanira mukazi mukayanira ttaka bw'aba alina connections bajja kuteeka mu kooti y'amagye ovundire mu kkomera. Ekyo tukivumirira nga twongera okubanja Dr. Kizza Besigye ne munne Ajobedi Kamulegeya babajje mu kooti y'amagye kubasiba n'amagye mu ddoboozi lyerimu nga tubanja abasibe bonna ba political prisoners abatali basirikale abawozesebwa mu kooti y'amagye babajje mu kooti y'amagye babayimbule bo abayina emisango babatwale mu kooti ez'abantu ababulijjo babavunaanibwe. Njagala okubaza leader of opposition olw'okutukyaza ne bakulembeza bannange bwe banayogerezo nebalidde ddala.
There was a leader of opposition, the members of our parliament, batwaniriza ekifo kino kya parliament ate n'abakulembeze bonna ab'ebibiina ebya opposition okujja wano okwemirira ne Dr. Kizza Besigye ne Haji Obedi Butale olw'okuwambibwa ku musango gwe babataddeko nga bamaze okubawamba e Kenya ne babateeka mu kooti y'amagye ekitasaanidde okuba kubanga abantu ba bulijjo. Ekyokubiri ekintu kino abali mu gavumenti basaanidde okukirowoozaako nnyo okusingira kimu ddala ababali ku ntikko kubanga nzijukira mu mwaka gwa 82 nga tukyalwana nga tulina abakulembeze abaali e Nairobi. Gavumenti yaliwo obudde obwo baawanga eyaliko minisita Muzeeyi Barak Kiria ne bamugya e Nairobi ne bamuwamba nga kati obutakiza bingi engeri gyawambiddwamu ne bamuleeta wano ebuzira era ndowooza yamalayo egyo emyaka gyonna okutuusa mukolo yakwata gavumenti. Abaali ku kakiiko ketwalina external committee abaali e Nairobi bona badduka buddusi. Honorable Mbabazi eyaliko prime minister yaddukira Sweden. Honorable Rugunda eyali ku kakiiko ako n'addukira Sweden. N'abakulembeze abalala bona badduka ne basaasaana. Era abakulembeze olwo General Museveni ye kennyini yakivumirira nnyo. Kati okuddamu okukola ebyo ebintu byennyini ebyakolebwako nga tebayizze, tebalina kibategeera, tekuliiko advance yona ekoleddwa, ekyo kyekisooka. Ekyokubiri, engeri abduction eno engeri gyekoleddwamu kiraga nti abo abali ku ntikko ebitongole ebikuuma eddembe kintu kyakweraliikiriza kubanga bw'owamba omuntu gw'omanyi nti yali agenda kudda kubanga bakimanyi Dr. Kizabegye yali agenda okudda agenze eweera emirundi mingi ng'adda obutalinda ne bamukwata ne bwandibadde nga balina emisango gyonna gye bakamukwata emirundi mingi wano mu Uganda naye okola ekintu ekitali kya bulijjo ne bamuwambira e Kenya ate nga bamanyi nti yali wakudda kintu kyakweraliikiriza. Lwaki? Kubanga kiraga nti abo abakulembera ebitongole ebikuuma eddembe n'abo ebaripootingira simanyi oba General Museveni yali akimanyi oba takimanyi kikulaga nti either mu Luganda babanga balina okutya tetumanyi ki ekibatiisa oba abo abakulembeze ebitongole tebamanyi kye bakola oba tebakyafaayo ku kifaananyi kya gavumenti yaabwe, tebakyalina image gye baprotectinga kwegamba bagamba nti katukikole kubanga tekuliko twayononekadda tetukyalina
kyetutaasa
ekikyo kiki kubanga siraba engeri yonna endala abantu abali ku ntikko y'ebitongole by'okwerinda okola ekintu kyekikatino kati owulira lawyers kati bavudde e Kenya bava Angola bava Nigeria n'awalala wonna ku lw'ekintu ekyo ekyokuwamba abakulembeze okubajja e Kenya okubaleetawo. Ekirala batadde Kenya mu katu n'alabyeko ndowooza wa permanent secretary wa foreign affairs ng'agezaako okunyonyola nga babuuzizza kubanga Kenya mu parliament babuuza abakulembeze aba political leaders abalala babuuza ng'agezaako okunyonyola naye ng'olaba nti talina kyakwogera. Kati wobona muliraanwawo n'akola ekintu mu ngeri gye bakikozeemu n'abateeka mu problem gye balimu kubanga problem Kenya wantu wetubadde ffena nga tutambula katwetaaya nga tetulina kutya kwonna. N'olwekyo kati engeri gye balabikamu kati kintu ekijja kutiisa abantu ffenna abali mu region eno. N'olwekyo ndowooza ab'e Kenya basaanidde okuvaayo obulungi ne bannyonnyolawo obulungi bwe tuba nga tetujja kusigala nga tulina okutya bwe tuba nga tugenda wa e Nairobi. Nga ekisembayo ntera kukyogerako nnyo. Tumanya oluusi wasobola okuvaayo abo abali mu gavumenti, oluusi abeebase abasobola okuzuukuka. Kubanga bw'obeera mu gavumenti manya nti waliko ekiseera ky'onoogivaamu n'obeera ku lulwo. Kati engeri gy'okolamu ebintu ng'oli mu gavumenti kizimba culture. Kati bw'ozimba culture ey'ekika kino enkya bw'oba nga tokyali mu gavumenti baagala tubayise tutya. How do they want us to treat them? Kintu kye bateekwa okulowoozaako kubanga ffenna tuli mu ggwanga limu, tulina obutategeeragana mu politics naye wasaanidde okubaawo owa enki elayini gy'omanyi nti eno tetugibuuka, etteeka lino tetulimenya kubanga bw'olimenya olwaleero n'okola kyonna ky'oyagala okukola kubanga olowooza nti oli mu gavumenti. Olunaku lw'ova mu gavumenti oba nga tokyalina ekikola ki ekikukuuma kubanga tokyalina mungu. Abaabadde bakukuuma abo abali mu gavumenti nabo baba nga baagala kukola nga by'okola abo be bakukwata bennyini. Kintu kya okulabira kumpi. N'olwekyo tubasaba abali ku ntikko, waliko olunaku lwajja kuba nga tebakyali mu gavumenti, ekyo bakimanye. Wajja enkuba, wagwa omusana, wajja ekibuyaga, oluvannyuma lwa byonna gavumenti zonna zikola ki? Zikyuka. Bakirowoozeeko ekintu ekyo nnyo nnyo nnyo. Ne bwe tuba nga tulina obutategeereka naye eggwanga lisigala nga lisitya. Gurupu endala n'eba eyingidde etambuza eggwanga bulungi, n'abo abatutulugunya kati amanye nti bw'aba akoze ensobi bagenda kumutwala mu kooti oba mu mbuga z'amateeka eziri civil courts mu Uganda zimanyozita kooti ez'abantu ba bulijjo. Ekyo muba nga tebakitegeera balina ekizibu mu ndowooza yaabwe ne mu mitwe gyabwe.
Ku lwange bwebaza ba principal b'ebibiina byonna, civil principal Honorable Kyagulanyi, General Muntu n'abalala mwenna, ne host waffe wano leader of opposition olw'enteekateeka eno ey'okuba nti tuli wamu kitole okwerwanako nga tukwataganye nga tuluse olujegere, era nga nkakasa nti nga tuluse olujegere luno nga bwe tululuse olwaleero tusobola okutaayiza abasajja bano ne tubabuzaako enkyusizo. Kubanga General Court Marshal bagitaddewo okumala ebbanga ezzeekula, naye ng'olutalo tululwanidde ku sayidi ya mateeka mwe tutuwakanyiriza. Kooti etaputa ssemateeka n'evaayo n'egamba nti eyo terina buyinza bukozesa abasiviriyani, ne baginafuya yakakisalawo emirundi egyo 3. Omanyi kooti okukiddingana emirundi 3, ogwa Uganda Law Society, ogwa Kamazibuluka ne Amoni Byalugaba. Naye njagala okubategeeza ogwasembeeyo ogwa Amoni Byalugaba gwa 2022 tewaliwo na kujulira. Gwe baajuliramu gwokka gwa Kamazibuluka. guno gwe bajulira ne bafunamu interim order gwali gwakamati naye guno gwa Amoni Byalugaba tebajulira gwa 222. So judgment kooti bwegenda kulonda agenda aggala ekkooti y'amagye nti yo emala kooti okulangirira nti eyemenya amateeka neesigala ng'ekyagamenya. Bwe guba musango gwa bulijjo gwa ttaka kooti egamba bailiff tukuwadde waranti genda ogyewo yalemeddewo. Bagamba gwe citizen bw'otakikola gwe kennyini obuziza omusango gwe bayita treason oba olidde mu nsi yo olukwe. Omulimu gwe tukolako olwaleero nga tukwataganya tuluse obujegere gwegwo gwennyini ssemateeka gwatuteekako. Ekisigadde kwe kuba oluvannyuma lwa declaration eno era kwe kugenda mu maaso n'enteekateeka eddako ey'okulaba nti tuteeka mu nkola ekyokuggalawo ki general court martial. Yadde nga ne Bunyidolo alina obuvunaanyizibwa obwa apiiru gye baateekayo mu gwakabazikuluka naye kuno ogwa Lieutenant Colonel Amoni Byalugaba mugutunuulire teguliiko apiiru yonna. Ate bagamba nti emisango gyonna kasajibanga giri mu penal code, giri mu firearms act, giri mu mateeka gano amalala, general court martial tegirinaako buyinza. Erina buyinza kujyayo naye obuyinza bwe beewaŋŋamyeko bunene. Akawaayiro ako namba 218 mwe bavunaanidde Besigye Nobed gye bagamba nti prejudice to national security and defense, bagamba nti singa gukukka mu V you are liable to suffer death, nti basobola okutwala kalabba. Njagala tukubemu akafaananyi nga Freeman Mugabe oyo atasomangako mateeka nga yasalidde Dr. Besigye ogw'okugenda ku kalabba. Ekyo kye bayita travesty of justice, mockery of justice. Ebola mockery of justice ffenna kitukakatako okugiwaanyisa. So ndi musanyufu nnyo nti tuluse akajegere ng'abakulembeze, ekisigadde bannayuganda ffenna kukwataganira wamu embeera eno tugyerwaneko. Bw'olaba akukaabirako nga naawe oyongera. Bangi bavudde ebweru bazze. Martha Karua yali wano wiiki ewedde. Olwaleero akomyewo atonnye mu Uganda. Emilian afudde Angola naye atonnye wano. Nigeria waliyo abajja bano bonna betwogerako ba senior council. South Africa luddawa bonna bajja bayiika wano bagamba okufa n'obutanyagwa tugenda kufaafaagana ne general court martial. Waliwo issues ezikyali mu law council zisaagala kwongerako kati. Ttiimu y'abaloyera ekuŋŋaanye gyendaga kati tugenda kuzanjula emiziziko egikyali awo n'ebirala. Nenjagala okubasaba nti eri legal team nga bweyongeramu GIA kuba kati ekigenda mu maaso GIA kwongeramu namba emu, keno ke kaseera okwongeramu namba emu okulaba nga tufaafaagana ne general court martial. Otherwise ejja tukola byonna byejjeekola abantu etuuke ku mbeera ng'erina kuvunnamya ebakole ekofujjo lyonna lye bakola ki lye baagala. Sebo Honorable Kyagulanyi kankugamba ekintu kye baakoze Olivia Lutaya ne banne mwenna abali wano bwe banaakibakolako mujja kumanya implication. Ffenna abali wano nze 2011 baali baŋŋaanya okwesimbawo era ne bagenda mu electoral commission ega bagenda kumpandukulula ndi convict nti general court martial yakusingisa omusango ate bamala okusingisa omusango tukkirizibwa okwesimbawo okumala emyaka 7 ate gyali teginnayitawo. Nalina kuguluba nempita mu mbeera enzibu. Mukulu wa Amos tulina omuziyoni Mukama omumuza emirembe n'akola judgment ennungi ng'anzikiriza okwesimbawo n'agamba bwe ntunuulira mu mateeka agafuga ssemateeka mu kooti zaffe sirabamu general court martial. Eyo bwebanga yaddiiringa ne Lukwago nga ow'amagye ebyo byeyo mu magye naye Lukwago mu mateeka g'eggwanga si convict nembitiramu. Naye Amos yafa wali Amos n'omuziyoni yafa ne Museveni ate akyali wano akyatuliisa akakanda. So kino tetukikolera Besigye yekka, tulina okukyekolera ffenna kubanga enkya Olivia Mutaya bwaga nti nakwesimba kwero C1 namugamba nti oli convict bayo bakunyigirira convict tojja kwesimbawo kati bajja kubitukola babitukole embeera paka lwe banatunyigiriza nga ssemateeka takyalina bwatutaasiriza so ke kaseera tufunvubire era mbeebaza olwakajegere kano ketuluse.
President egenda kubeera mu mpinyo naye kirungi mupulirize. Njagala okuleeta okulamusa ku budde eri ekibiina ky'enkulembera ekya Conservative Party. Kintumye okusooka okwebaza ennyo ekibiina ekya NUP leadership mwebale ennyo okutulaga timusobola okutukulembera. Era ne baŋŋamba nti nno okusinziira ku biri mu ddiiro ekiseera kituuse twekumeekume tulwanire wamu. Ne bagamba nti no for example ebibiina by'obufuzi kaakati tebikkirizibwa kuba nkuŋŋaana, tebikkirizibwa kwekalakaasa ng'ate constitutional court yakamala okusalawo ng'egamba nti poliisi terina buyinza kuziyiza muntu yenna kwekalakaasa oba okuba olukiiko kasi tetegeezebwako. Ate era nga constitutional court neeyongerako ng'egamba nti as if that was not enough, article 92 egamba parliament tekkirizibwenga kusaawo tteeka ddala lizzaawo liri eribadde nullified. Kitegeeza ab'ebibiina muli free ng'endogoyi. Kyo kiba kitegeeza nti ssebo Mr. President ottibwa Kyagulanyi kiseera kituuse mmwe nga baliida baffe mu parliament mukulembere omumuli ogututuusa okukolera awamu. Nindiridde olumu era nga tuli ready muyite olukiiko olwa bonna mu Kampala public rally ebibiina byonna nga weebiri tubalage ekye tuli mu nsi eno. Ekintu ekirala ate nga nakyo kikulu ssebo yogedde ku buli bw'enguzi mu sekendi ngamba bwinti Uganda limu ku mawanga amali g'enguzi kayingo. Bwe tuba nga tunaalwanyisa obuli bw'enguzi twetaaga okukyusa ku governance, twetaaga enfuga ya federo ewa ebitundu ebinene obuyinza okulwanyisa obw'enguzi. Kalangala district tesobola kulwanyisa State House nguzi nti erwanyisa obuli bw'enguzi mu State House. Acholi esobola, Buganda esobola, Busoga esobola. Kitegeeza you need some autonomy to muscle out the dictator and the corrupt people. Nekisemberayo ddala ate nga kikulu. Natunuulidde ekigambo kino ekya Dr. Kizza Besigye. Bannayuganda mwenna naddala ebibiina by'obufuzi ebiri wano mwebale kuvaayo mulwanire omwana wa Uganda oyo. Dr. Kizza Besigye tumufiiriddeko ku bigambo bino ebiriwo ng'ali mu kkomera lwa nsonga nti myaka 2 alemedde ku nsonga y'okulwanira eddembe ly'Abannayuganda persistently. Teri asobola kulwana n'awa olutalo lwa kulwanira eddembe ly'obuntu. Teri asobola kuwangula kulwanirira eddembe lyabwe nga talemera ku nsonga. Ensonga lwaki up now after so many years abantu nga Martin Luther King Jr, Nelson Mandela, Mahatma Gandhi bakyali ku mimwa gy'abantu kubanga balina chapter eremera ku nsonga. Nekisemberayo ddala kyendowooza nga nakyo kikubanja kunebasi. Nze mbadde ndowooza nti ssebo Pulezidenti Kyagulanyi kyotulaze ffe ng'ab'ebibiina tukisiimye nnyo. Era nsaba mu maaso wonna gulawo oluggi lw'okukolagana naffe awamu tufunewo ebimu ebitugatta naddala nga tuli migwa gya Museveni. Otherwise Museveni mulwanyisa nga oli single-handed you cannot govern. Njagala okuwoninga President Museveni nti the time is now ategeere nti eggwanga lino si lirye. Bannayuganda baddembe okwekalakaasa nga bawakanya enfuga bbi eri omnipotent dictator.
Aziza katuddewa Honorable Saddam Gaira ate manyi Honorable Kyamuza ajja twogereramu ku luddica naye kale
nange nja kwegatta ku bannange okwogera ensonga 2 zokka. Esooka yeya okukubiriza abakulembeze b'amadini nti wadde nga ffe abali mu bibiina by'obufu tugatta okulwanirira eddembe naye abakulembeze baffe ab'enzikiriza baliriddawa kubanga bano bwe bakwata bagoberezi baabwe ba academicians baliriddawa bagamba nti bino tebibakwatako ba professionals baliriddawa baga nti bino tebibakwatako bya bannabyabufuzi ba middle class baliriddawa bali middle class bali mu maduuka gaabwe bagamba nti bino tebibakwatako bannamawulire nga muggyeko okuripootinga bino tebibakwatako so njagala kukubiriza bannayuganda nti bino okulwanirira eddembe ly'omuntu mu mawanga gye babulwaniridde abantu bonna ab'ebiti ebyenjawulo beegattamu okulwanyisa dictator ebyobufuzi babirekera bannabyabufuzi nga waliwo political sanity babirekera bannabyabufuzi nga waliwo political sanity naye nga waliwo dictatorship buli kategori y'abantu mu nsi eteekwa okubibaamu akasembayo kakujukiza President Museveni nti bakwata mugandawo bwe bamukwata jjukira ebigambo byewagamba Paul Muwanga omanye kyewafiiringa ne bano b'okwata abantu baabwe kyebafiiringa ekyokubiri ekyo wabyogera nga tokakasa kooti bwe bagenda kumutwala era jjukira bwe wagenda mu nsiko leero enkya ne bakwata muzeebitandise ne bamusiba omwaka gumu n'emyezi 4 mu military prison kyokka ng'ate bw'ali ogenda mu nsiko ye teyakuwagira era jjukira nti wasindikako n'abantu bagende mu kkomera bamuddeyo ebyo byonna byali biraga tiwali tewekakasa kooti ze bamutwalamu kakati gwe lwaki olowooza nti abantu bagenda kwekakasa kooti maasho n'otwala abaana b'abantu n'olwekyo nja kwebaza National Unity Platform nga bannange okutuleeta together okuyimirira awamu n'okugera okukigumiza bwe tunaabeera nga tulowooza nti bakwata ku ono tebinkwatako President Museveni kyayagala okutwa isolatinga from one another. Mwebale.
Tuze wano olwaleero okulaga eggwanga fenga bebibiina ebyenjawulo twegasse okuvuumirira sekuvuumirira ekikolwa ekikoleddwa ku Dr. Kizza Besigye ne Abedi Kamulege ya Lutale ekyobuswavu ennyo eri abakulembeze b'eggwanga lino tukivumirira kubanga tumanye tekiri mu mateeka ate kityobola eddembe ly'abantu bannayuganda mwenna gye muli temulowooza nti bino ebigenda mu maaso tebibakwatako ne mulowooza nti ebyo bya Dr. Kizza Besigye oba by'abanabufuzi ekikoleddwa ku bannaffe bano kiyinza kukolebwa ku muntu yenna bw'olaba nti kati buli omu aba atali mu NRM bamulaba ng'omulabe bw'ona gy'oli toyina mirembe kubanga tomanyi ddi bw'oliba nga tokyalina President Museveni. Zijjukira lwe twali mu palamenti nga bayisawo etteeka lya Public Management Act. Amama Mbabazi yagamba nti ye talaba lwaki tukuba enduulu mu palamenti fe abali ku ludda olwali luwakanya by then ye nga lowooza tebijja mukwatako twamugamba sebo etteeka lisewo naye omanyi nti naawe luliba lumu liri kukwata ate tekyatwala na mwaka Amama Mbabazi bamukwata under public order management. Kati bino ebigenda mu maaso n'abo abali mu gavumenti mwali badde mukivuumirira kubanga engeri gye muyisamu bannammwe wadde mubalaba nti bo tebali mu gavumenti namwe luli balumu ne bibatuukako musirike naffe olwamwe lulituuka naffe ne tusirika naye ngaffe abali mu bibiina by'enjawulo tetwagala kusirika kubanga tukimanyi nti an attack on one of us is an attack on all of us. Tujja genda mu maaso n'okukivumirira ate tujja genda mu maaso kozesa amaanyi gonna ge tulina okwogera okulwana era n'okwegatta okulaba tulwanyisa enfuga embi eri mu ggwanga yaffe. Tusaba Mukama atukwatireko eggwanga lyaffe tulituusa awo we tulaba nti wewasanidde Abannayuganda kubeera tweyagale mu Uganda empya. Mukama.
Thank you very much, all our dear leaders of the different political opposition parties. And with that, we've come to the conclusion of this press conference. Thank you very much all for coming. Thank you, the media. God bless you for good and night.
bwebyo omukulembeze Kyagulanyi Ssentamu Robert Bobi Wine olwaleero ku Parliament bw'ati ensonga bwe zitambudde era buli kimu bwe kibadde n'enteekateeka bwezityo bwe ziri nga bwe bazisazeewo era nga bwe zigenda okuba nga zitambula wamaggwe ddala. Twongere okusaba eggwanga lyaffe litere sobola okulyeyagaliramu, sobola okuba n'ensi enno, sobola okuba n'ensi efaayo eri abantu baayo, sobola okuba n'ensi eyeeyagaza nga tulina abakulembeze abafaayo eri abantu baabwe. Abakulembeze atakola bikolobero bantu ate balina okukulembera, wabula abakulembeze abali ku kimu ekyokulaakulanya eggwanga Uganda nga President Kyagulanyi Ssentamu Robert Bobi Wine. Ebintu bwabirimu, ebintu bwabikola ate nga tulina okubikola paka nga tusize eggwanga lyaffe, tusize ensi yaffe waliwo gye tugyetaaga naye nga buli omu kyetaagisaamu amaanyi go okukola nga bino tubikola. Kigana okitiza Besigye bamukwesanga akabadde, bamukwesanga akanyeebwa, naye tulina okukola ekyo ekyetaagisa okukola nga tuswaza General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni.